Ladies and gentlemen, in this Ifactner's learning video tutorial, we will learn to write 7 characters of Urdu alphabet in their independent position, initial position, middle position and final position. We will learn how do we make shapes of these characters, and we will also learn to write few words with those characters. We will cover the third row characters of Urdu alphabet, and these characters include daal, dal, zal, re, are, ze or ye. Let's start our tutorial. Now we can write daal in its independent position as like this. You make a inverted C or a semicircle and you get yourself daal. Daal in its initial position is written in the same way as in its independent position because no character is added after daal. So we have to give a space and then start a new character. So daal in its independent position or in its initial position is written same as it's in independent position. For example, we have a word, let's suppose dil. Dil means heart. Let me write it down. Daal and lam. Dil. And if you want to, then you can add a zir under daal. Usually you will see that when native Urdu speakers are writing these words, they don't use diacritics or Arabs. But it's always better to use Arabs, so it will be easier for you to pronounce these words. Dal, zir, lam, dil. Now let's see how do we write daal in its middle position. So you need to add this connector and then you write daal like this. You need to add a connector and then write daal like this. For example, we have a word bad. So bad is bad. Be dal bad. Be dal bad. So you put a dot under be and you write daal like this. So you can add connector like this. When we are writing, we add connector like this. So you add a connector with it bad. And in typing you will see an extension or connector like this. And there is another word badal. So I have already told you that no character is added after daal. Therefore, to write badal, we will write be, daal and lam. Badal means to change. So the final position shape of daal is same as its middle position shape, because in the middle position we don't add connector with the daal afterwards and add the connector. We have to add the space, and when it comes at the end of the word, then it is written in the same way. Be dal bad. Now the good news is that the next 5 characters or 6 characters are written in the same way. They follow the same rules, but we have to add a dot on them, or we have to make them a little slanting lines, or we will see about it in a little bit. But dal, dal and zal, you can say that you write them in the same way. So now let's see how do we write dal. Dal. Dal is a retroflexive character. You have to roll your tongue to pronounce it. Da, and the previous character dal is a dental character. So your tongue should be touching the back end of your top teeth to pronounce this, dal. And the second one is dal. So I'm rolling my tongue here. Now let's see how do we write dal. So you write dal and then put this special character on top of it and it becomes dal. And same rules apply for dal, that no character is added afterwards. So you always need to give a space. Therefore, the initial position shape is similar to its independent position shape. For example, let me show you how do we write it. You make a semicircle like this or an inverted C and put a special character on top of it. We have a word daal. So daal is also a word. Daal means to pour, for example, to pour the water, or to put the food in the bowl. Daal, dalna. Let's see how do we write daal. Daal space alif space lam. Daal. Daal means to pour. Now, the middle position shape and the final position shapes of dal are similar, because we have to give a space after if it comes in between two characters. Let's see how do we write it. So you make a connector and then write dal, or you make a connector and write dal like this. For example, let me write a very simple word, bud. And bud doesn't mean anything, but let me show you how do we write bud, be and dal. Bud. Be dal bud. Or when it comes in at the end of the character, it is written in the same way. For example, be dal bud. You can here write be dal alif bada. It doesn't mean anything, but I'm just showing you how to write dal. So we write dal in the same way as we write dal. And now let's move to the next character, which is zal, and it is written in the same way as dal and dal. So in its independent position, we make a semicircle and put a dot on top of it, and we get ourselves zal. Because zal is not connected afterwards to another character and we always have to give a space, therefore the independent position shape and the initial position shape are similar. To write zal in its initial position shape, you make a semicircle and put a dot on top of it. And when zal appears in between two characters, that is, let's see how do we write its independent middle position shape. Then you need to add this connector and then write zal. So you need to add a connector and write zal. and its final position shape is similar to its middle position shape. There is a word called zakhira, and it's a difficult word, but let me write it down for you so you can see that how do we write zal. Zal, khe, ye, rehera, zakhira. Zakhira means if you have collected a lot of things, or the collection is called a zakhira. Now let's move forward to the fourth character, and that is re. Re, re, ze, and ye are all written in almost in the same way as daal, but we need to make this character. And an easier way to make re is to make a straight line and then write a slanting line, and you get yourself re in its independent position, straight line, and a slanting line, and you get yourself re in its initial position as well. Now we have a word called rad. Re, daal, rad. Rad means to omit. If you are saying something, then I just say no, then it also means rad karna. Now when re appears in the middle of the word or at the end of the word, then usually during writing we write it like this, a connector, and then write re like this. So we have a word called bura, be, pesh, re, alif. Let me show you how do we write it. We write be, this is be, and then we write re like this, and alif, and you can put pesh on top of it to write bura. Let me show you one more time. Be, re, alif, bura. And the final position shape of re is similar to its middle position shape, because in the middle, as you can see, when it appears between two characters, then we have to give a space after writing re. So let's see how do we write re. So you make a connector and put a re at the end. For example, we have a word called par. Pe, re, par. Now par can mean two things. Pe, re, par. One is but. Per is equal to but in English. Or we also use per for feathers. Per. Let's move forward to the next character, which is re. Re is written in the same way as re. You make a straight line and then a slanting line, and on top of re you put this special character and it becomes re. So re, this one, to pronounce it we make the dental sound. The tip of our tongue should be touching the back end of our top teeth, and this character is re. You have to roll your tongue to pronounce it, and the back end of the rolled tongue should be touching the upper palate of your mouth. Re. Re in its initial position is written in the same way as in its independent position, because we need to give a space after re. So it is not connected afterwards to any character. Now I think there is no word starting with re in Urdu language. So let's move forward and see how do we write re when it appears in the middle of the word, and at the end of the word. So its middle position shape and final position shape are similar because we need to give space after re. So just like re, you make a connector and write re like this to differentiate it from daal. So while writing, we write re like this. For example, we have a word bada. So I write be and then re like this. And afterwards alif. Bada means big. Let me write it one more time. Be, re, alif, bada. The final position shape of re is similar to its middle position shape. You make a connector and then write re like this. And we have a word bur. Bur is a special tree. Bur. Let's move forward. The next character is Z. Now, Z is written in the same way as Re and Re. To write Z, you make a straight line, then a horizontal slanting line, and on top of Z put a dot. Its initial position shape is similar to its independent position shape, a vertical line, then a little slanting horizontal line, and a dot on top of it. Now there is a word called zar. Z and re. Zar. Zar means money. Mal or zar. Zar is money. Now let's see how do we write say when it appears in the middle of the word and at the end of the word. So its middle position shape and final position shape are similar because we need to give space if it is appearing in between two characters. So you make a connector and then write Z like this. Make a connector and then write Z like this. So you make it a little differently when it is appearing after or in between the two characters. Let's see. We have a word called subs. Subas. So we write seen and then we write be and then we write ze. Subs is a color. Subs is a color which means green. Seen, be, ze. Subs. So you need to write it like this. Subs. So and if you want to see how do we write it in its middle position, because this is the final position shape, there is a word called sabza. Seen, be, ze, alif. Sabza means greenery. And the last character which we are going to discuss it is J. J is not usually used in Urdu and there are very few words in which we use J. But let's see how do we write it. So just like re, re, ze, we make a vertical line, then a slanting horizontal line and put 3 dots on top of it and we get ourselves J. Vertical line, a slanting horizontal line and 3 dots on top and we get ourselves J. Now there is a word called jala, jala bari. So if it's hailing, then we say jala bari or jala. Let's see how do we write it. J space alif, lam, hela, jala or jala bari. And the final position shape and the middle position shape of J are similar to re, re, and ze, and there are very few words in which at the end of in which we have to use J at the end. But let's see how do we conjugate it or write it. So you make a connector and then write it just like re and put three dots on top of it. You make a connector and then write J like this and put three characters on top of it and you get yourselves J. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. If you have any questions or comments, then please use the comment section below. I will see you in the next tutorial. Until then, take care, keep learning, keep enjoying. Good day.